Good evening, everyone. This is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and tonight we have a special guest, Steve, from Island Software Company.
Steve is a co-founder and president of the Island Software Company. Island Software developed Massage Office Professional, and Reflexology Office, practice management software. Development on Massage Office began in 1997, and in 1997 it was first released. Many years of hard work and dedication has produced the most comprehensive and user-friendly software products in the alternative health industry. After owning a national marketing company for 8 years, Steve decided to change his life path and enter the field of alternative health. He graduated from the Aston Center of Natural Therapeutics massage therapy program in 1992. He was a primary therapist for the Bone and Joint Center at St. Paul Medical Center of Dallas. During his work with St. Paul, he developed a strong massage therapy program and was responsible for marketing this program to the public as well as physicians. He was also responsible for developing and implementing administrative forms and paper flow procedures. Steve then went on to be manager and therapist for Genesis Rehab in Dallas, Texas. He became very familiar with clinic management and working with insurance billing and medical records. Since 1995, Steve has been the owner and operator of Island Day Spa at www.islanddayspa.com, a full-service massage therapy center and day spa. Utilizing the techniques he developed in conjunction with his software, Island Day Spa grew from one therapist and 32 clients to five therapists and over 88,000 clients in less than 4 years. Steve is also a registered CE provider in the state of Texas.
So, good evening today, Steve.
Hey, Ryan.
So, you're in Texas still then?
Yep, we're in Dallas, Texas.
So, you're one of the few that actually have the same time zone as me. So, it seemed like so many people are East Coast, and so
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So it's
Nice
normal.
and late for them.
Yeah, so it's normal hour for you right now. So,
Yes.
so who is Island Software?
Well, like you said, I mean, we started the company. We actually started working on the software in 1997, and that was based out of a need we had for our own center. We opened the center in 1995, and when we went to find software that would do what we needed to do, because I was so used to working with a very large enterprise application at the hospital, and we thought, well, we need something for the spa here to do the same things that I was doing there. And we couldn't find anything. There just wasn't anything available unless you wanted to spend, $25 to $50,000 and put in a big mainframe and all that. So we started developing this just for our own use. And because I'm also an instructor and I'd worked closely with the schools, our center was kind of a stepping stone place for students coming out of school. They would come and work at my center for 6, 8 months, and then I'd kick them out and make them go get their own place. Most times I actually went out and helped them find the building and all that kind of stuff. But as they were coming through, they would look at this software at our center and go, well, what's that? How do I get that? I want that. And after giving away about 10 or 12 copies to therapists around the area, and then all of a sudden my phone started ringing off the hook, I thought, you know what? I guess this is something that a lot of therapists need. And now we're up to a little over 9,000 users in 3 countries.
Wow.
And that's how Island Software started, was just really based out of a need that we had. And that's really the best software, is always built from your need, and then you put it out from there.
Okay. And do you have it in different languages at all?
Not in different languages yet. We're working on the whole localization thing and completely converting the code over to bring it up into the whole .NET web-based. We're working on that right now. But for right now, it's just English-speaking countries. So we sell to U.S., Canada, and Australia. We're starting to get. We've been getting orders from Madrid, Spain, Norway. They learn English, so they're using it there, even though it's not in their native language. They're still using it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It
So
is.
you're nationally known then.
Well, the internet, yeah, we're the international house of pancakes of the software industry.
And where do you see your company going from here?
Well, like I said, what we're working on is we want to develop the product and get it to the point where it's got what people need in it. And then we want to move this to mobile apps, the web-based. We're working on all of that right now to take this to where people can use it as a subscriber service on the web so they can access it from anywhere. We want to get it so it can go into the smartphones, sync up. So people will have it literally anywhere they go. They'll have the software with them, and that's what we're working on right now, is to get to that point, and then possibly spread it out to veterinarians, acupuncturists, chiropractors, the whole alternative health industry and veterinary industry.
So you said basically there's going to be an app for that, right?
So we're working on it.
Yeah.
I can't give any details, and I'm not going to give a time frame. I've gotten caught with that before, where we gave a time frame. Oh yeah, we'll have it out by what happened to Microsoft when they did that. So we don't do that, but we're working on it.
Yeah, just like with Apple, they don't say anything. So.
No, and it's really best because then people get all excited, and then if you can't meet that deadline, then they get really upset.
Yeah. So what I love about your program too is you can actually download a free version, a temporary version, so people can actually try it out too. So,
Absolutely, and in fact, we're in just about 4 to 6 weeks here. We're going to be implementing where it's going to be available where people won't even have to download it to try it. We're going to be going through a web service that uses the Citrix, like the GoToMeeting, GoToAssist, GoToMyPC, that whole backbone, where they'll actually be able to take a test drive of the product right there in their browser, enter data, save it, all of that, see how it does everything without even downloading and installing it.
okay. And then with this, is this a one-time fee then for purchasing the program, or let's say they want you have different versions? Do they have to pay for an upgrade then, or?
Well, yeah. Now, what we do is it's a one-time fee for the software. Incremental updates are always free of charge, and I will say in our first professional version, we put out 23 incremental updates over 4 years, and didn't charge for any of those. And I think that's important, really important point right now, because one of those updates was to the new 0805 CMS 1500 form, the HIPAA, the insurance billing form. Every single other software company out there, and I'm not going to mention names, but they all did it, took that as an opportunity for a revenue stream, where the government changed the form. You had to have the new form. The insurance companies wouldn't accept the old form at a certain point. And so they all looked at that as an opportunity for revenue to sell an upgrade to get the new form. We just put it out as one of our incremental updates. We changed it, fixed it, put in there what it needed to be in there, and put it out. So everybody who had our software automatically got the new form. Now, when we have a major upgrade like we just did, last in 2009 with the V2, the Massage Office Professional V2, when we have a major upgrade, yeah, there is an upgrade charge. I mean, it's just like Microsoft when they go from XP to Vista, Vista to 7. There's an upgrade charge.
Yeah, it's totally understandable for that.
Yeah, we charge about half the price of the regular program to do the upgrade to the new version.
And let's say somebody bought your program, and then a few versions later, can they update it then, or do they have to be current?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, we've got people that bought our 2.2 standard version back in 2001, and they were still using it, and they got a new computer, and of course it won't install on Windows 7, and so they call us, and we convert their data for them because that's really old. We convert the data for them. They pay for the upgrade, just like they would if they had bought a previous version a couple of years ago, and we get it all converted for them and upgraded, and they're set to go.
So you also wash cars too and do housework and
When I have to,
yeah.
when I absolutely have to, between midnight and 2 a.m., that's when I get the time to do that.
Okay. So you don't currently have a Mac version, but will you have one in the future?
We're working on that for native Mac. That's why we're looking at changing the platform that the code is on, that the software is written on, so that it'll be more cross-platform. But actually, we have quite a few Mac users, and what they're using is like Boot Camp, which is a free product from Apple. You can get it at the Apple Store. You can download it from the Apple site. And that lets you boot into either the Apple OS or the Windows OS operating system. And that now you still have to buy the Windows operating system, but it lets you install both on your machine. And then there are programs that you can pay for, like Parallels, that allow you to run both of them simultaneously. So you can just kind of, with keystrokes, just flip back and forth between them, or have them both up on the screen at the same time. And it runs it lets your Mac run the Windows programs.
Okay, awesome. So there is hope for Mac people then. So
Oh yeah, we probably have, I'm going to say maybe 200, 250 Mac users that are using our product.
yeah, because for a couple years now I've just been using Mac now, so it's got there's not as much software out there. So.
Well, we're going to have to get you a copy of Parallel so you can run our software.
Yep, exactly. And then, what is the main purpose of your software that you currently use it?
Well, what we did when we developed the software, again, we developed this out of a need that we had. And that need came from the fact that, we were using Outlook for scheduling and Act for marketing and QuickBooks for accounting and Word for doing, marketing pieces and form letters and that type of thing. All of which work really great, but we were using 5, 6 different programs to run our business. And so what we decided to do with this is try and take what 80% of the people use 80% of the time in those applications, combine them into one application that was fairly simple to use and learn, and gave them most of what they needed to run their business. Now, I mean, is it Word? No. Is it QuickBooks? No. What it is it does 80% of what those programs do for people, in one application. And then we tailored it and added the treatment notes and insurance billing and tailored it specifically for the massage therapy industry.
And I know Vivian Mahoney actually raves up and down about you too. So yeah.
She's a sweetie.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. She's kind of the insurance goddess, so I'd call her.
Yep. Yeah, she really is.
Yeah.
She's done a lot for this industry, and she's sacrificed a lot for this industry too. She's a great person.
Yeah. And then with billing insurance, do you have anything to deal with HIPAA then too?
Well, we in the templates that we have all the HIPAA forms that you need, and a lot of people ask us, well, can I bill electronically through this? And the answer is a definitive no. And we looked into doing that, but most massage therapists, there is the exception here and there where there's a massage therapist who's sending out 30, 40, 50 insurance billings a week. Okay, but that's the exception to the rule. The most massage therapists are doing any insurance billing are billing out maybe 3 or 4 a week. All right. As soon as you start transmitting electronically, that puts you into a whole nother group for HIPAA compliance, because you're transmitting all of this data, and you have to make sure you have secure connections, and there's all this whole protocol you have to go through, and all your software has to go through to make sure it's totally HIPAA compliant. By printing it out and sending it in that way, and you can even fax it into the insurance company. You don't have to mail it, but by printing it out and mailing it, That way, all you need to be HIPAA compliant is a computer that you can password protect as far as logging in, and a file cabinet that locks, and you're HIPAA compliant. And that takes away all that headache.
Okay, so yeah, that'll be huge. And I can see there could be a lot of headache because, I mean, with chiropractors especially, they usually have a chiropractic assistant to do all the billing and all those kind of things just to make sure they're compliant with everything. And
Well, in the electronic billing, I mean, that's all well and good if you're doing a lot of billing. But like I said, for the average therapist, it might increase the time to payment by 4 or 5 days, but not much. And for the extra headache and the paperwork and all the compliance you have to go through, it's just, at this point, it's not worth it. I mean, we have made some deals with some like Office Ally online to put our to be able to submit all of our forms through their electronic system so that in 15 seconds it's submitted. Okay, but again, that maybe picks up you're getting paid by maybe 4 or 5 days. And since ours is fully compliant with every other protocol for printing it out, once it gets there, it goes right through the optical character recognition machines, just feeds right through, and you get paid almost as fast.
okay, and then with taxes, when giving your information to your accountant, um, is it kind of like QuickBooks in a way? Is it pretty accurate?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, yeah, the accounting portion of it is all the income side accounting. We don't do the expense side. We don't do expenses and 941s and 1099s and all of that. Again, it's not QuickBooks. What it does do is all your income side accounting. Now, if you want to do QuickBooks yourself, I always tell therapists, well, did you go to school to become a massage therapist or an accountant? You know, do your massage therapy, keep your records, print it out, take your shoebox of receipts, hand it to a CPA, let them do it. But a lot of them still want to do it themselves. So to them, I just say, you can print out all of your reports and give them to your accountant, or you can take that bottom line figure, because QuickBooks, Peachtree, no matter what you're using, Microsoft Money, they don't really care about the detail of where that income came from. If you just want to figure out what your expenses were and how much money you made and all that. And since you already have the detail in massage office, what we tell people is just go ahead, print out your income report, your detail report from massage office, plug that bottom line figure into your income account in whatever accounting you're using, and run your expenses against it. Done.
Okay.
There's no need. Well, it sounds real simple, I know, but there's no need to enter detail in both places, is my point. And since QuickBooks can't do everything our program does for massage therapists, like scheduling and treatment notes and insurance billing, uh, you you almost have to run your expenses against that. And we're looking at increasing, but the more we put into the product, then the more expensive it gets, because it has to, because then we have to support it and keep moving forward with that code. So we've tried to keep it to what they really need as far as the basics. And, so far, knock on wood, 12 years, everybody still loves it. I think at this point, we're probably the top selling software for the massage therapy industry. So, it does the job.
Okay. And then also buying the program is a tax write-off, right? So
Absolutely. And I tell people people say, well, oh my gosh, $400 for a piece of software. And well, yeah, I mean, if you want to just keep names and numbers, you can use Windows Address Book, or you can go down and get my mailing labels or my database, my contacts for $29.95 at the local computer store, and that's fine if that's all you need. But they want everything else that's in it. And I tell them, how much did you pay for your table? Did you buy a $59 table? No, because you're a professional. And so you have to look at this as the same thing. It's an expense for your practice, and you're really pretty much only going to make that expense once. but it's going to continue to work for you day in and day out. I mean, I teach a class here in Texas on how to computerize your practice and how to use a computer to market and build your practice. And I don't even get into showing them our software until like the last 10 minutes of the class. It's all about how to utilize your computer, and that's what we're trying to help people do, is take this machine that is 100 times more powerful than the one that took a men to the moon, and squeeze every nickel out of it. You've got so much power sitting there in that little machine, and all you have to do is learn how to utilize it, and it's not that difficult. And that's what we try to do, is make it easy to utilize the machine through this software.
And then you also do, what kind of support do you offer then?
Well, first off, we give phone support. We have a support ticket system through our website. You can always contact support directly through email. Plus, when we do support, we use Go to Assist. It's through Citrix, same people who do Go to My PC and Go to Meeting. You've seen all the advertisements on TV. And so it costs us a little bit more, but it's a much better product than most that are out there. And we actually go live onto their computer where we can see it. We can see what they're seeing, and we can actually fix things right there and show them how to do things through that type of support. So it's really like we're sitting right there with them, and we can do that for anybody in the country anytime. And it's been a phenomenal tool. In fact, we had a support call the other day, and this therapist had her husband call, and he's talking to me about what they were trying to do. They were trying to move it onto a new machine and get the database on there and everything else. And he's telling me what he's seeing on the screen and all that, and I hear her in the background telling him, just tell him to get on like they did the last time and just do it. and she said, that's so easy. You don't have to go through all this. Just tell them to get on the computer and they can fix it. And that's what we do. We get in there and fix it. In fact, I'll be honest, in most of our support sessions, it's less teaching people how to use our software or fixing any kind of glitches or problems. And we probably spend half of our time teaching people how to use their computers and helping them to check them to make sure they're clean and they're faster. And, we just kind of throw that in.
And what is the minimum requirement for your, you have to have at least, let's say, Office 7 or something, or?
No, you Windows XP. We've got our V2s running on, right behind me here, I've got a Pentium 3, 1 gigahertz, running Massage Office Professional V2. It doesn't require that much. We would say probably if you're running XP, at least 512 mega RAM of memory. Of course, if you're running Vista or 7, you need at least a minimum of a gigabyte, just to run their operating system. Really minimal system requirements to run this. I mean, typical mouse, printer. You need to have 1024 by 768 resolution, which is like the minimal standard now that comes on any computer. Anything that's bought in the last 5 years, that would be like the minimum. So we have people using old computers, like I said, and some of our oldest versions. They're still running every day. They just work day in and day out.
And do you have tutorials too, how to use your programs?
We have a full user guide it's mostly pictures, because that's what massage therapists like, and I can say that because I am a massage therapist. I can diss my own industry if I want to, because we like pictures. We're very visual, sensory people, and so our user guide is way less words and way more pictures and arrows. So that's in there, and we have some video tutorials at our website that kind of walk you through a few areas. Probably the biggest advantage to the software is we have a learning database. And for anybody who's used QuickBooks or some of the other programs where they give you a sample database so you can go in there and play around with it and figure out how things work. So we have a complete learning database. It's a full database. It's already populated with quite a bit of data. Plus you can add some of your own. So you can just flip over to it, push all the buttons you want, do transactions, figure out how everything works and looks and flows. and then switch back to your real one and do it, and then you're not affecting your real database when you're practicing with it.
Okay. And is there a lot of is it hard to transfer the program? Let's say they purchased it in one computer, but to transfer it to another computer if they had if they're upgrading your computer?
No, not at all. We have a very, very good backup and restore utility. And it doesn't, people, what they do is they just install the software on their new computer. They run a backup and they just save it right to a little USB flash drive, pull it out, plug it into the other computer, launch the application, restore from that backup, and everything's right there.
Do you
It's just that
recommend
simple.
do you recommend people to do backups on a regular basis just in case they
Ab-
get the blue screen of death and
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't stress enough that, and what we tell people, they say, well, how often should I do a backup? Once a week, once a month, once a day? What I tell them is, you know, any time that you do a lot of data entry, and I know this again because I am a massage therapist, so I'm going to speak to all of you out there about how we gather up these intake sheets for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and they stack up there. And then we get a Sunday afternoon where we're not doing anything. We sit down, we enter them all at the same time. We don't put them in as they come in. We wait to do our paperwork because we don't like paperwork. We want to do a massage. You know, we don't want to do the paperwork. So anytime you do a lot of data entry all at one time, if you've been putting in a lot of stuff, as soon as you're done, just run the backup to a USB flash drive and pull it off the machine. And to be absolutely safe, uh, you know, God forbid anything should happen to your practice, but I've seen it happen where the practice, it burned, it flooded, the building collapsed, whatever it is. And even though they had their backup off the machine, they left their whatever they put the backup on sitting right next to the machine, and it went with the machine.
oh,
So you put it on a USB flash drive, stick it in your briefcase, your purse, your pocket, your glove box, whatever. Take it off site. That way you've got all of your information and you don't lose all your data. Now, for those of you that don't do it, not that it helps if their whole machine crashes, but when our software launches, it checks to see if they've made a backup in the last 12 hours, and if they haven't, if people sometimes people complain because when they go to launch our software, they say, "Well, I'm sitting there waiting for it. And it says loading, 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 performing database maintenance, blah 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 blah." You know, well, that's just because we figured people would rather see that than see every little thing that it's doing, which is it checks to see if you made a backup in the last 12 hours. If you haven't, it makes one, stores it in the backup catalog in the root folder. It checks to see if you've checked for an update in the last 30 days. If you haven't, then it checks to see if you've got an internet connection, and then goes out to our server to check to see if there are any updates or patches to it. And then you get it open. But that's all the things it does every time it opens and every time it closes. So that we're constantly monitoring not the person's computer, but we're monitoring the application from their computer, so that make sure that the database stays healthy, make sure that the backups are done, trap any errors that might occur, so that when we go in for support later, we can look at that and say, oh, here's what happened, and we can fix it real quick, so they don't end up, you know, a week, 10 days, 2 months without being able to get into their application or get to their data.
okay. So it sounds pretty much foolproof then and stuff as long as you follow certain little things here and there.
Well, pretty much. I mean, you know, this stuff is made by man, not God. So, you know, there are going to be those times where something happens and it glitches, and you know, that's just, you have gremlins or viruses, or you know, something happens in our code. You know, it again, it happens. But we're very diligent about staying on top of all these things, and as things come up, we try and fix them as quickly as possible, get the updates, patches out, so that any little problems are solved quickly. And I would say that at this point, we've been working with this code for so long now that we just very rarely have any problems with it.
Okay. And then, what are some of the updates you've done in the last 10 years or so? The great improvements.
Well, just recently, we first of the year we put out an update that implemented our new Easy Reports module because When we were developing the Pro, we of course we went to our customers and said, what do you need? What do you want? And we got all this feedback, and they wanted to do all this reporting. So we put in this really comprehensive report generator. In fact, it's the same one that Chase Bank uses. It's out of Germany, and we put in this report generator and designer, and it is really powerful. It can do a lot of things. The problem is that it's really powerful and it can do a lot of things. So most people can't figure out how to do all those things. It's kind of like going into Word for the first time. You see 80 toolbar buttons and 1,500 pull-down menu items. And most people, all they want to do is type a letter, change the text a little bit, add a picture, and that's all they do. And so we had a lot of people saying, well, the report generator is great, but I just can't figure out how to do the queries and the filters and sorts and the design stuff. And so we put in a little easy reports module that runs most of the reports that people run. And it's real easy. They just click on it, put in some date ranges, do an end of day report, do a mailing label list. It's just very simple. And as I don't know if we may get time to even look at it, but and then I can kind of show what that is.
Okay. And is there, what are some questions that people ask about your software?
Well, a lot of people want to know, again, if it does it transmits their billing electronically, and we've covered that answer. They want to know if it does full accounting, where ours does income side accounting. And what we try and stress to people is that it's very difficult for a small company that's going to a relatively small market. I mean, it's not like when we come out with an upgrade like Microsoft, we don't have 4 billion sales the first day. So it makes it a little tougher to put all these features in and still keep the price down. And so what we tell them is, we couldn't put out something competitive to Word and QuickBooks and Act and all of those and still keep the price under $500. And if you look at some of the software that's out there for the chiropractic industry or doctor's offices, that even comes close to what ours does right now, you're going to pay a minimum of, say, $2,500 to $3,000. And I've confirmed that with many, many chiropractors' offices. So we're trying to keep the price down, and so we put in as much as we possibly can. But those are the questions we get. How much accounting does it do? They want to know if it'll do bulk emailing, and we tell them no, we don't do that. You can email individually from the client screen if you're using a local email like a client like Outlook or Eudora or one of those that are locally installed. But we don't do the bulk emailing because most people through their internet connection are not set up as a bulk emailer like Constant Contact or Aweber or one of these places that's all CAN spam compliant and so if you do a bulk emailing from any software from your computer and you send out more than 25 at a time, there's a very good chance that your machine and your email address, and if you're using your own website and your own email address through that website, is going to get shut down from sending any emails as a spammer. And so we don't provide for that because we didn't want people to think, oh, I can send out 560 emails in one click through this software, and then they do it, and then they can't send out any more emails after that. And for anybody who's ever gotten one of those, your email's been blocked by Earthlink, and for no particular reason other than they just think you're a spammer.
Yep. What's Earthlink? No, joking. Same with AOL, right?
That's it.
And what about like Schedulicity, all these online appointment booking software? Is there any way to import it into your program that people can actually?
No, we don't sync up with Outlook, or it's not like a Palm Pilot or any of the online schedulers. And I know a lot of people like to use the online schedulers. The problem with that, and the online schedulers are great, Schedulicity and Appointments Plus and My Receptionist, all great companies. But what they are primarily is just a scheduling service. It just puts a calendar up there. So they don't provide for any of the insurance billing or treatment notes or any of that. And those that do, I mean, now you're talking about, again, getting into the medical thing. Now, instead of 29 or 39 or $49 a month, now you're talking about $250 per month per provider. That means per therapist in your center. So it can get quite expensive when they add all those features. And so we don't sync up with those. Um, People use those, but if they use that, then they can pretty much only use that. I don't know. Did you ever meet Max Fandrel with? He did GotAppointments.com. He was in Canada. I think you may have met him through Scott Dartnell. And anyway, this was what we were going back and forth. We were trying to do this whole sync up thing. The problem is that if you use a web-based scheduler, you can only use that, or you get out of whack. Then you start double booking and all of that. Again, we're working towards having this web-based and smartphone-based, but we're not going to just, there are a lot of companies that jumped into the whole smartphone thing, and there are some cool apps out there, and there's some good web-based stuff, but again, we weren't going to jump into that until we had it right. Because the last thing we want to do is jump in so that we're in there with all the rest of the people, so we can be, jump on that bandwagon, and then have a lot of things giving people problems. And I think the other thing that I've seen with some of the web-based, I've seen a lot of them come and go. And the problem with that is that when one starts up, if they don't make it, then you have all of your data up there. You've gotten all of your clients used to using this. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen to the big ones out there like Appointments Plus and Schedulicity. They've been around a long while, and I think they're going to stay out there for forever. But there are a lot of the smaller ones that people go with price. If you're going to go with something like that, go with something, go ahead and bite the bullet, pay the money to go with somebody who's been there a long time and knows what they're doing. They're going to be around, because you can end up just having to revamp your whole way of doing business if you start with one of those companies and then they close, because then that's gone. And that's what I tell people with our software. It may not do everything you want it to do, but you know what, it's there and it doesn't go away.
Yep. And then can we look at some of your features that you have on your program?
Yeah, I'm going to try and share my screen here through this and see if you can see it over there.
Okay, yep.
Are you seeing the screen? Great. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this and minimize that. So now you should just be able to see the main screen of the application.
Yep.
This is the client screen. What we did with the new version is we tried to group things that you do every day together. And then the things that you don't do that often are grouped in another grouping, and then all the help and support is another group. We really cleaned up the data entry screens. We try to get as much on one screen with as few clicks as possible. So where we used to have 2 tabs for custom fields and notes, we combine that into 1 tab. So we're trying to minimize the amount of clicks you have to go through to get to the different information that you want on the clients. And what we did was we also laid out, I'm going to open up the therapist screen here, and I'm going to move that over here. And again, this is fully Microsoft compliant, so everything you can do in any Windows application or any Microsoft application, you can do with ours. You can open up 6 screens and move them around, go back and forth between them, whatever you want to do. But we laid it out. The screens are essentially the same in every screen you open, so that when you learn how to use one screen, you pretty much learn how to use all of them. And we put all the records in the upper left, all the details always in the center, and all action and navigation is always on the right. And that way you know where to look for what you want to do. This is the client screen. We have changed everything so that it's all calendar driven for all the dates, so you don't have to type any dates in. We use the full Microsoft calendar control, so you don't have to do a lot of scrolling back and forth. Try not to get into too many real details here, I think probably, this keeps all the basic information that you would keep in just about any application. I think one of the most important things here is we provided these user definable fields that you can actually change the captions on these so that you can keep information that's specific to your practice. So in this particular instance, we can click in here and type fibromyalgia. Type, Steve. Save that. Now, I think I've got a couple others in here that are like that. Now we can go into search mode, click into the condition field, what we call a condition, type FIB, hit search, and out of 15 or 5,000 or 20,000, we get just the people that have fibromyalgia, so you have a contact list.
That's awesome.
And it helps, and then you've got 4 of these. So I mean, if you're a member of the American Kennel Association and you get a lot of clients through that association, then you can change one of these to AKA member, yes, no. Or for those who want to do kind of a membership thing like a Massage Envy, where they want to know if this person's a member and they bought something, you can do that. Plus in the notes field, you can keep, this is not for your treatment notes, this is just a complete open notes field that has 3 children, Jimmy, Johnny, and Judy, and they like classical music, whatever you want to put in there. So we keep this area and that's in every person screen. So we have those same user definable fields for therapists, so you can keep track of their specialties or any other information you need to keep about them. So that's an important thing. We keep both primary and secondary insurance, all the insurance information for going on the CMS form. We've also added a big feature that we just added is being able to do the insurance billing right from the billing screen. And I'm going to show you something right now. I'm going to go into search mode, not put anything, get everybody back. And I'm just going to pick somebody here, and I'm going to create a session for them. Okay, we have one here that's open that I had put in here. They've already come in for it. Once they come in, you set up this appointment, and this will show up when you set up an appointment for a person from the client screen. It'll show up on the calendar. From this appointment, once they come in, you've picked everything about the session, what you're going to do, what time, the date, who's going to do it, what room they're going to do it in. And if there's an event for insurance billing associated with it, you can pick the event and associate this session with a date of injury. From here, all you have to do is hit create invoice, say, okay, it grabs everything about that, opens the billing screen, creates an invoice, puts that service on it, you post the billing, then to the system, and then create, I didn't put an insurance billable line. It looks for a CPT code, by the way.
Okay.
And if you don't have a CPT code on it, on this one I can, because it's got some that have a CPT code associated with it. You select the date of injury or event date that you want to associate this billing with, and it builds a CMS, fills it out, puts in dates of service, codes, charges, totals it all up. It's all done right from the billing screen.
That would save somebody tons of time, though.
Well, that's 4 clicks without entering any data, because most of what you're doing with the software, I mean, when you're talking to a client, most of what you're doing is you're spending most of the time when you're booking the appointment. You already know what you're going to do when they come in, and you know what day you're going to do it on, and you know what you're going to bill. You just haven't done it yet. So instead of spending all that time once they've come in to kind of build all that, you've already done it by setting up the appointment. And so we capture all the information about that appointment when you're booking it, and then when they come in, it's just click, 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 and you're done.
Oh, awesome.
That's it. And we try to keep it as simple as possible. Plus, it's got a full-featured calendar that you can open up here. You can zoom in, zoom out, show different views, day, week, month. If you have multiple therapists, it'll color code them. You can show it in 15 or 30-minute increments so you can see more of the day. And all you need to do to book an appointment, you pick your date, you just double click the time, come in here, you pick the client, you pick what you're going to do, select the therapist, an event if you want to associate with, save, and there it is on the schedule.
Oh,
And you
awesome.
know by color code which therapist is going to do it. And this is a full-featured schedule control, so if they call and you want to move it, you just grab it and drag it to the day that they want to move it to, and there it is, it moved it.
That's too easy. Can you make it a little bit harder, please?
Well, and if this same person comes in every Friday at 10:45 for the same thing, you can go to that session, hit recurring, and you say, well, I want to do this every week on Friday, starting with this one, and they're going to come in for 6 weeks like that, or 5 weeks, and I hit save, and that's it. Now, all of those, if I look in their sessions, it just built all those sessions for the next 5 weeks.
Oh,
They're all set up.
and can you
Now
easily?
when they come in,
Can
now
you?
when they come in, I just do soap notes on them. There it is. People love our soap notes. It gives them, it automatically is gender specific now. We added that. So if you put the gender on the client screen and you go to do the soap notes, it automatically loads by default the female anterior posterior muscle chart.
Okay.
If it's male, it loads the male, or they can pick any other image in the image library that we've included, or they can browse and pick anything they want from their computer, anything they've downloaded, scanned in with a scanner, a chiropractor sent them digital x-rays, whatever they want to add in, they can add in. And they can do soap format, or if they prefer the narrative format, they can do narrative format.
Wow. And then
Uh,
with the charts, can they color those too then, or certain areas you
Absolutely.
can't?
And you click on a button, and if you want, you can adjust the pen width so you don't have to sit there drawing for 15 days, nice and thick. You can zoom in if you want to be really detailed. You can zoom in on the image, and that way you can get very detailed in your areas. Then you can zoom back out. You can even type text on the image. I mean, if all this wasn't enough already, you can type text on the image and move that around anywhere you want on the image, and then lock it down and then draw a line from that text to a specific area. Save that, and then when you go to print it, it asks you if you want to print the image with the treatment note, and this is what you get with a legend telling anybody who's looking at it what each color means, and you can even type text on it that becomes part of the image.
Oh, cool.
And there's the treatment note all done up with all the information about the date of injury, the date of therapy, who the patient is, place, it has the typed name of the therapist plus a place for their signature and a place for the notes themselves. And the nice thing about this is that when you're doing soap format like this, when you get to objective, all you have to type is, upon palpation, found problems in the following areas, see graphic. Because a picture's worth 1,000 words.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So, the picture does it all. And even if you're not doing this for insurance billing purposes, it's nice to have it so that you can refer back to it. Say you haven't seen a client in 8 or 10 weeks. Just before they come in for their next appointment, you just go back to their last treatment note, and just glancing at the picture, you can see where the problems were very quickly without having to read through all this text and decipher your own abbreviations, which should be standardized, but nobody follows the standard. And so by just glancing at the image, you know what's going on. They walk in the door. You say, hey, you had this stabbing in your neck. You had that tightness in the low back. How did you do with that after the last session? Did that help? Do we need to adjust what we were doing to help that a little bit more? Are you still having that same problem? blah blah blah. It just it's just a great tool and a quick tool for keeping treatment notes.
And then for the soap note portion, is there spell check in there?
Not yet, and we're in the process right now of creating for both SOAP and for the narrative, where these will actually be little tiny word processors with dictionaries and spell check and all that. It's on our wish list. It's just there are so many things thrown at us that everybody wants,
Yeah.
and we're doing as fast as we can, but it's getting there very quickly.
And then let's say somebody their soap notes were subpoenaed to the court system. Do people actually bring that stuff on a flash drive then, or do they just have to copy that stuff off then, or how does that work?
Best thing to do is to print them out hard copy, but they could save them off. When you go to print them, you have and you go to the preview. You can actually save this as either our format or as an enhanced meta file, which can be opened in Windows, Adobe, Mac, the EMF type file can be opened in anything you want, so you can save that off, or you can just run the treatment notes reports for people right from the well, not from the easy reports, but from the advanced reports. You can go into treatment notes, go to query options, and say where client name is equal to, and that's it. And then it runs all of their treatment notes for that person.
Okay.
Now they have all of their treatment notes that you've done, and you just hit print, and there I have 10 notes for that one person, and just hit print.
Okay. Again, that's too easy.
And, well, it's got a lot in it. It's hard to cover I'll tell you, I tried to cover everything in a 4-hour class, and it can't be done.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we've packed this with a lot of stuff, and people don't realize that. And one of the things I really want to cover before we finish up here too is one of the most important parts, and that is it's important to be able to keep your client information. It's important to be able to do insurance billing and do your treatment notes. But probably the most important thing for a therapist is when they're trying to build their practice. What we've done here, we have included a word processor built right into the database. So when you want to do a form letter, you just type Dear space insert merge field, client's first name, enter. I just did a mail merge.
Oh.
Now whatever I type there, it's going to personalize it to every client in the database. I can go and get that down to clients who just have a birthday in September, and it'll only print it out to them. But then when I go to generate the merge document, boom, 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 it says that will give you 36 clients, so you know how many pieces of paper you're going to have to put in, so that you don't have to go, oh my gosh, no, it's printing out 800 pages. And then you have to unplug your printer and all that. We tell you ahead of time. So then you go, oh no, that's not right. I can't possibly have 36 clients for fibromyalgia. That's all the clients I have. So that lets you go back in and adjust before you actually print it. But then I generate it, and there it is. It personalizes it to every single client. Now that's the word processor. And we give you all these templates already pre-done. These are all marketing pieces, internal forms, HIPAA compliant forms, contracts and legal stuff like independent contractor forms, anything that you might need, on-site contracts, bills of sale, anything you might need to run your practice plus market your practice. And just to give you a quick, we have one that we use a lot, and it's called GC Mailing. I'm going to open that up in Word, and we give it to you in R format, Word format, and RTF, so you can open it up in any word processor in RTF. This is a marketing piece, has a place for that they can edit it. It's just a Word document. What they do is they print these up en masse. At the bottom, it has a gift certificate already on it. There's a little spot for a code down here. They print these up and hand them out en masse to everybody, mail them out. They then do a little spreadsheet starting with numbers on it, like starting with 1001, where they give the certificate number. Then when somebody needs a last minute gift for any of these reasons, like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, it's 5 o'clock and I'm on my way home. It's Valentine's Day and there's not a chocolate or a rose left in town. But oh, wait a minute, I've got this thing in the glove box from when Mary gave me this little marketing piece. They pick up the phone, they call, they order their service, they give them their credit card, you run the credit card, then you go to your little list, you give them the next code available up, and they write that code in that little code, and now it's an active gift certificate. They don't have to come over, you don't have to mail it, nothing. They've already got it. The first time we used this in our center, which is still open, we sent out 25 of these as a test 2 weeks before Christmas, and by 3 days before Christmas, we'd sold 18 of them.
Wow.
That's how well they work. But again, when they get our software, there's not only the templates, but complete articles on how to use them step by step. Walks you right through exactly how to customize it, how to use it, who you send it to, how you send it. And we have tons of templates in here for marketing your practice and building your practice. And again, like I was saying earlier, in our center, we never spent more than $200 in any given month for advertising. And every one of these templates that we put into our software were things that worked.
Do you have templates for newsletters too?
We have a newsletter type template, and we're going to be offering very soon a complete marketing program that we've just acquired. We're doing a royalty deal. I don't know if you're familiar with you know Valerie Goodman?
No.
Grow Your Bodywork Business for Pennies?
No.
It's being marketed through Massage Warehouse, and we just acquired the rights to market that on a royalty agreement. And we're going to be, if people want to buy it, it'll be the same price they pay at Massage Warehouse. But if they get it at the same time that they get Massage Office Professional, we're only going to charge them the cost of actually producing it, which is $10. And it's a complete 12-step marketing program with newsletter templates in it, a complete marketing program that you do it step by step. It's a 12-step program for massage therapists. How to build your practice. That's what it is. But anyway, that's what we're going to be including. So we have some newsletter stuff. What I suggest people do is, and that's a whole nother show, but in putting marketing pieces out, even the U.S. Post Office now, you can do up your newsletter, and you can upload it to the U.S. Post Office. It's cheap postage. They print it for you. They mail it for you. It's all done. You just edit your template, and we're going to be putting several newsletter templates. That's what we're working on this next 3 or 4 months, is building up that whole marketing templates area to include a lot more.
Okay. And with the thing that says products up on there, is that with actual massages that people are performing?
No, this is products that you're selling. It keeps track of what you paid for, what you're selling it for, how many units you have on hand. So if you're selling retail products, and who the supplier is. So if you're selling retail products, when you go to, we'll just go to billing here for this person. We'll do a new invoice. We'll add items. We'll put in a 20-ounce massage oil. We'll save it. There it is on the invoice. It puts the tax in for you and figures it up. And you'll notice here what it did was, my reorder quantity I had set for 5, and I've gotten it down to -1 on hand.
Oh.
So it tells me when I get down to my reorder level that I need to reorder, and I can go right to maintain products to that product, call the supplier, and order it right then. So it keeps track of inventory, keeps track of what you sold, how much you paid for it, how much you sold it for, and the tax you collected on it. You just pay that, it's done, print the invoice for the customer. I haven't entered any data at this point. Have you noticed?
Yep.
All I've done is click, and everything is right there.
Wow. And then people still have to fill out health forms, though, right?
Yeah, the intake forms are part of our word processing templates. We don't do it on screen because they need to sign it.
Okay. Yes.
So we include, we have an intake form here. Here it is. And let me zoom in here. So you can swoop. I really zoomed in. There we go. Anyway, and this is fully editable. This is all this information that they need on an intake form with a full disclaimer down here, client signature, therapist signature, and we've done this up, but you can edit it to suit your needs, whatever questions you want to ask. Just a good basic intake form that gets the information for you.
Okay.
We have a 1-page. We can put together a 4-pager. Whatever you want to do on it.
So you have about 100 different forms, it looks like there.
Well, we've got tons. I mean, just I don't remember how many there are, but there's everything. I mean, our gift certificates alone are pretty nice.
So I even saw printing labels too, or something. Aviary there, was that too? So it's kind of
Yeah. Now on your reports, let's say you wanted to do mailing labels. You're going to send out a mailing. You go to the easy reports now. You click client mailing labels. You can send it to everybody, or if you just want to send it for people who have a birthday in April for next month, because you're doing a birthday list, or you can do it to everybody. You hit preview. That's it. There you go. There's your 3 across, 10 down, 32 a sheet, Avery 5260 or 8260 mailing labels. Stick them in the printer, print them out. You're done.
That could save a lot of time.
Oh yeah, and you can get we have a phone list for contacting the clients. Brings up all the client information with their phone number, so you can go right down and contact them. You can filter that so you only get certain people. End of day reports, all of your. I'm going to preview for today. Here's today's business that I did. Totals everything up that I paid. There's that one thing that we paid. It was a product, sales tax, tracks everything for you, dates. You can do the whole year for 2011, and it gives you your whole year summary right there. Looks just like QuickBooks. All your financial reports for paying therapists, what they did. You can do it by all clients or one client, by all therapists or one therapist, invoices or just payments, what you received in money today. Or you can see what you received and what's still due. I mean, and it's that simple. It's just click, 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 pick it, and get it.
And let's say you made a mistake and saved something. Is there any way to go back to the original way you had that?
For, what do you mean, for the reports?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, here you just pick whatever you want. As far as the reports, saving the reports, from the easy reports, you just pick whatever you want, put in your parameters. I mean, it comes back to a default state every time.
Okay.
Okay? And then in the easy reports, you just pick what you want. Now, in the advanced reports, yes, it will save how you set the query options. So in that case, you just clear it, and now you're back to the default state.
Okay.
And again, we train remotely. We do training on this with people. Typically, when people buy our software, we give them one training session at no charge, which is usually about 45 minutes where we get on. And just like you and I are doing now, where we can see everything, it's all visual. And we walk them through. So we tell them, poke around. That's the thing. We have the learning database, so they can load this up with sample data, which is what we were talking about earlier. And they'll always know they're in their learning database because it looks like a chalkboard at school with a little stick guy up there. And now they can go in here and push all the buttons and figure out how everything works. And what we tell people to do is go in here, play around, get a legal pad, write down anything you don't understand, and then we'll schedule an appointment to walk through everything with you and just go right down your list and answer your questions.
Okay.
And this allows them to do all the transactions they want without affecting their real data.
And is there any special pricing or financing available?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of times we already have package pricing. Like if they're going to do insurance billing and they want to get the software and the Vivian insurance billing manual and some CMS forms, we combine all that. We reduce the shipping and give a discount. Uh, what I will do is for anybody who mentions this show, what we will do is we'll give them a $25 discount off of the software.
Okay, very
For
generous.
anybody who mentions this, that they saw it on this show, we'll give them a $25 discount. And again, we run specials from time to time. When they buy the software, we can break it up. If some people, even $400 is tough right now, and we know that. So we can do a split pay. It's our easy pay system where we can do a check by phone or by their credit card, and we can split it out over 3 months. So they have 3 equal payments.
Okay.
So it lets them, and actually they can download the software, install it, and use it for an entire month. And I'm not a trial version, not a crippled or limited version. Exactly what you're seeing right here. It just, after 30 days, it won't open unless you put in a license key, which you have to pay for.
Okay.
But all your data is still there. So people can literally download this, use the marketing pieces, get business in, do some insurance billing, and get the money to pay for it before they have to pay for it.
And can people download their information like in spreadsheets or those kind of things too, or?
Yes, through the report generator,
Okay.
it provides for exporting in several formats, including Excel, XML. You can export as images, as text format, CSV format. I mean, there are 18 different formats that you can export most of the reports in.
Okay. And then for people to contact you, is email the best way, or phone support?
Best way to get a hold of us, so they can either call our toll-free number, which is 877-384-0295, or they can go to our website, which is islandsoftwareco.com. So company, islandsoftwareco.com. And if they just look in Massage Magazine or Massage Today, Massage Warehouse carries our products. I mean, pretty much you can see us just about, if you just Google massage software or in any search engine, it will come up between number 1 and number 4 on every search engine.
Okay.
So, yeah, all they have to do is put in massage software or massage office, and we'll come up.
Okay. And then, do people sometimes use this in the school settings too?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, just today I was at ATI Technical Institute. They're looking at integrating this. They're already going to be putting it in their clinic. Everest colleges have this up in their Michigan campus. They're using it for their clinic. Sandy Fritz, you know Sandy Fritz?
Yep.
Yep. She's using it in her school, in the clinic, for doing the scheduling in their clinicals, and it also helps therapists to learn how to use software and utilize software as part of their office environment and business environment. So we have a lot of schools that are utilizing it, not so much for scheduling students in classes. They're using it for their clinics, for the students to schedule their clinical massages.
Okay. And do you see getting into a lot more schools in the future too?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we're right now speaking with ATI and Corinthian. They want to integrate the software into their package when students go through. In other words, here's your books, here's your table, here's your software, so that they have everything they need when they graduate. When you and I graduated, Ryan, you know what it was like. You got your books for your tuition. You learned how to do massage. Then you graduate. It's like, oh boy, now I got to buy sheets and a table and lotion. You got to buy all that stuff. And you don't even have one client yet. And so what a lot of the schools are trying to do is is kind of bundle everything into the tuition so that it doesn't hurt as much when they graduate, where they've got to go out and beg, borrow, and steal from all of their relatives to get the equipment together to go start a practice. And so they're going to be integrating this not only into their bundled package, but as part of their curriculum. Sandy Fritz just utilized our software for her new book, which is the Business and Professional Skills for Massage Therapists, which is also now just been adopted by Everest and a couple of other career school chains as the textbook for the classes. And so we're actually getting integrated into the textbooks as part of the curriculum. In fact, I'm having to now go around and speak at schools on how to use the software and teach instructors on how to use it because they are now teaching it. So it's we're very, very proud of that.
Wow. And then do you plan on making more tutorials and more advanced ones too?
Absolutely. In fact, through GoToAssist and GoToMeeting, the Citrix people, they've just come out with a new product called GoView, which is great because it lets us do screen capture like you use Camtasia, I use Captivate. Well, it's like that, but it's very fast, it's very clean, and they serve it up, and it's just like right now, it's ready to go. So we're doing a lot of those over the next few weeks. So that people can see how to use it a little better, and we're going to be incorporating those. I'll just show you real quick. I don't know if you can still see our screen, but this is our user guide, and you can literally click on any one of these areas, like working with clients. It's all indexed, and it goes. And like I told you, it's very little text, mostly pictures and lines and arrows, and it's very visual. So walking through our user guide really is a simple process, and it will really show you exactly how to use everything.
Okay.
And we offer also, when there are 3 ways to do something, we give you best practice or recommended way, but there's still other ways to do it.
And then somebody in the chat asked, do you see insurance the module as being more popular for independents to use in the future?
Absolutely. You mean independent therapists doing insurance billing?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did a lot of insurance billing when I was an independent, and Lord knows that was longer ago than I want to admit. I probably was well, let's put it this way. I was the primary therapist at the Bone and Joint Center at St. Paul in 1993. So it was a long time ago that I was working with insurance, and it's gotten bigger and bigger, and more insurance companies are accepting insurance, accepting massage therapy directly to the therapist. And of course, for auto insurance and workers' comp, it's still a very, very big field. And for independents, you don't have to be a big clinic to bill insurance. I know a lot of individual therapists that are billing a lot of insurance.
Okay. And then David Otto asks, are you working with LMT Success or other insurance medical billing classes to get?
Absolutely, we work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yes. Well, we work LMT Success Group. We work with them. We also work with Vivian Madison Mahoney. We work with several people who do workshops. Adrian Carr. A lot of people who do workshops and teach as a continuing education. We work with them. They sell our software and they teach our software. In fact, when LMT Success Group comes to Texas, I go in as a guest speaker to explain exactly how the software works and show them all the intricacies. So you can get our software just about anywhere.
And then, are you working with Cherie Mo at all?
I've been talking with Cherie. I've sent her the software like I did you when we first launched the V2, and we just haven't hooked back up. Just like you and I, we keep trying to hook back up, but we're so busy with everything. Yeah, we're going to be working with her. We hope in the future. Just called her office a couple of weeks ago, and she was very busy down in Florida, Florida's got it's been, CE madness for renewal of their license. So they do it every 2 years, and right now is the time. So anyway.
And she just recently got onto Facebook, so she's been on there a lot lately. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I'll have to get hooked up with her on Facebook.
Yep.
We've got our Facebook page. It's through me, but if you put in Island Software, it'll come up there.
Okay, great. And then just wait, one other question. Somebody said you should give a complimentary copy to Laura Allen.
I should.
Yep.
Well, tell Laura Allen to call me, tell me why she shouldn't. If I believe her, I'll give her one.
Okay.
I'm not hard to get along with here. If she deserves it, she'll get it.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything else that we have not covered that you think we need to cover still?
Well, Ryan, like I said, I'd like to stay on all night going through all of this, but I think really one of them, I can't stress how important two things on our software. First, the learning database, which people forget is there, and so if they get frustrated with trying to figure out how to learn things and they don't want to put a lot of junk in their database, that's one of the most important things. But the most important has got to be the whole marketing aspect. Like I said, I wrote 7 articles on 7 of the different templates in our templates area. And when you get the software, when you launch the first menu that lets you install the software, you'll see right there, bonus marketing articles. And it literally is step by step, little or no cost to build your practice. And these are things that just work. And again, I can't go into detail, but maybe at some time in the future, if you're generous enough to allow me another show at some time, I would love to not so much even go into our software or pitch our software, but really go into how to utilize this marketing and how to do low or no cost marketing to build your practice.
Oh, I love that.
Keep the clients coming back in.
Yep. And then somebody asked too, are HCF forms still in date?
Yeah, well, the HIPAA is now CMS 1500. The government's got to change everything every 15, 20 years just to throw us all off, and justify all the positions they give to the bureaucracy. But the one that we have in our software is the most current CMS 1500 form with the NPI number sections on it, and everything changed. People think it's just the NPI. If you've got the old HIPAA forms, you can't use them. There were over 30 fields that actually changed, not just the NPI area. And people just don't realize the spacing changed, the information they're collecting changed, all of that. So yeah, you do have to have the new one as of August of 05.
And then somebody asked too, how does your software deal with triplicate forms?
The CMS forms, when they've got those triplicates track fed,
yeah,
doesn't matter. I mean, you're sending it to the printer. The printer's printing 3 forms. If you need more than that, when you bring it up and you go to print it, you see it in WYSIWYG. This is the other thing we did. You see it on the screen as a way it's going to look when you print it out. Save that. You see it on the screen the way it's going to print it out, but when you actually go to print it, you see just a blank page with all of the data on it. And then it prints out on the pre-printed red forms. And you really need to use, whether you get them from us or somebody else, you need to use the pre-printed red forms because those are the ones that are certified to go through those machines. And if you just use the PDF style or you just photocopy them, they're going to get kicked out and they're going to get hand processed, and that's going to slow your payment down by up to 5 times.
Whoa.
So anyway, it comes out like this. So when you go to print it, you just hit print, print, print. There's 3 copies. If you need 3 copies, just hit print 3 times. Okay. If you have triplicate forms that are track fed, it'll just send this to the printer. It'll print on the top one. It'll go on through to the other 2.
Is alignment a problem at all?
No, and that's the thing is with our software, we have a little adjuster here. So the first time you print through your printer, if it doesn't line up quite right, you just pick this up. You pick one of the boxes like this one here, and you just move it a little to the right, a little down, apply that, print it out again. Once you get it lined up and locked down on one, as long as you don't change printers or change forms, it stays there for all of them. You never have to adjust it again. And it's real easy to adjust this so you don't have to go in and put in all this X and Y axis and all that stuff. It's all visual. Just point, click, move it. There it is.
Okay.
And it lines everything up.
Again, you're making things too simple for people, okay?
Well, these are, here's the thing. I am a therapist. Half of us at Island Software Company are massage therapists, and we've had to do all this stuff since 1992.
Yeah.
So we know all the little things that come up that bug us, like the thing I showed you in the word processor where it tells you how many you're going to print out. Because I can't tell you how frustrating it is to start a print job and then realize that you just asked for 10 times more than you really thought.
Yeah.
And then you got to stop it, and it won't stop, and it's kicking paper out. It looks like a I Love Lucy episode. So, and all of those little things that frustrate you is what we tried to put in here. Again, like when you're adding a client, you're putting in a new client, you hit new, you put this in, you put in the data, and you can either hit save or save and new, which puts you right back into new, because why do therapists, they wait for 3 weeks and stack up their intake sheets, and then they do them all at one time. So instead of having to hit save and new and back in, you just hit save and new and put in the next one. Done. Just simple things that may not seem like a big deal, but they really save a lot of time, and they're very easy to use.
And then somebody in the chat says, too, his philosophy is exactly why I bought it originally.
Oh, well, great. I'm glad they like it, and we're again, it's made by man, not God. We do our best, and we're constantly striving. If anybody has any ideas, anything they'd like to see in the product, if we can do it, we think that more than 2% of our users will benefit from it, we'll put it in. Half of the ideas in the software came from our users. And you can always send that to support@Island Software Co. Send those ideas in, or just go to our website and fill out the contact form and put your ideas in there, and we'll implement them. I can't guarantee that you'll get a huge royalty check every year, but if there's something you really want in it and we can do it, we'll do it.
So how many versions have you gone through in all?
Well, we started out with version 2.0, standard 2.0. We finished that one out at 2.2, and then came out with Massage Office Standard, and then we came out with Massage Office Professional version 1, and now we're at Massage Office Professional V2. That released at version 2.0.0, and now we're at 2.1.5. So we've put out in a little less than 18 months, 7 incremental updates at no charge. And all incremental updates are at no charge.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
And it automatically does the updating. It checks for the update, just like Windows or Norton or any of the major applications. It automatically checks for an update every 30 days to make sure you have the most current information or the most current code. And there's probably another 2 or 3 hours of things that people haven't even seen yet. But, again, all they have to do is call us. We'll be more than happy to spend whatever time we need to walk them through it and show them how it works and answer any questions that they have.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, off the air, I'd like to talk to you if you want to set up a marketing one. I would love to do a show on that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I want to tell you, I think what you're doing is just for the industry as a whole. Um, a lot of people don't know that how much time and energy that you put into this just because of the love of the industry. And I have to tell you, I've been watching you for many years. We've only talked once before, and we've only had a few interactions, but I watch what you're doing all the time. And I just want to commend you and thank you for everything you're doing for this industry.
Oh, thank you, thank you very much. Yeah, and I definitely love doing what I'm doing. So
Well, I think your videos are great.
thanks. Yeah, because I'm only up to 2,500 right now.
Is
So
that all?
yeah,
What a slacker.
yeah.
uh,
Okay, so if anybody wants to get a hold of Steve, and you can just go to islandsoftwareco.com, and he's always available. You'll even answer your phone 24/7, right?
well, I'm in the office right now,
Yeah.
and I'm usually here till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I won't always answer the phone, but
Okay.
if I'm here and yeah, yeah, I'll answer it.
No.
Yeah, I can't lie, I'll answer it.
Okay. Okay, thanks again for tonight, Steve.
Thank you, Ryan,
Yeah.
and good night to everybody. Thank you
Yeah.
for tuning in, and uh, have a great weekend.